I wish we'd done it different for the simple fact that you don't want anybody's life to be lost. I mean, you don't want that. Nobody wants anybody to have to be buried because of you.
It was a volley of shots in a dark hallway that would take Breonna Taylor's life and reignite calls for racial justice around the country.
Breonna Taylor!
For the first time, Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly, one of the officers inside that Louisville apartment, sharing his account of what happened that night.
I feel for her. I hurt for her mother, for her sisters. It's not just a passing, oh, this is part of the job, we did it, move on. It's not like that. I mean, Breonna Taylor is now attached to me for the rest of my life. And that's not, again, woe is me. That's me feeling for them.
And I know I'm kind of taken back because that's the first time I think I've heard that, or anyone has heard you say anything about her mother and what they have to go through.
We've had a gag order on us for 7 months. We've not been allowed to talk. I would love to have talked months ago.
Her name, her story, a rallying cry amidst the summer of unrest.
Say her name! Breonna!
But even as her name spurred nationwide calls for action, the details of the night she died have remained in question. Tonight, 2 accounts from each side of the door, both conducted in rented spaces to allow for social distancing, in detailing the final moments of a violent encounter.
She's done. We'll keep one person here on her.
That ended in tragedy and helped inspire a movement.
Say her name! Breonna Taylor!
It was a quiet Friday night. Taylor, a 26-year-old aspiring nurse, was spending the evening in her Louisville home with her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker.
It was a normal day. We went out to eat. We was just chilling, playing Uno, watching a movie. Uno didn't last that long. Didn't even get to finish, and then she was falling asleep, and so was I.
At the same time, Louisville narcotics officers are executing multiple search warrants in connection with a suspected drug ring. Authorities have said they believed an ex-boyfriend of Taylor's, Jamarcus Glover, an alleged drug dealer, was storing drugs and money at her apartment. Glover has denied these allegations.
Who were you expecting when you went to the apartment that night? Did you expect Breonna to be there by herself?
I did. We expected Breonna by herself. They did say in the brief that they weren't sure about children and dogs. I remember banging on the door. First time didn't announce. Just hoping she would come to the door so everything was quiet, neighbors wouldn't come out.
Can you hear anything from inside the apartment?
Not at that point. After the first bang, nothing happened. I banged again. We started yelling. I did. Nobody else yelled. I yelled, please search warrant, please search warrant.
Yeah, how many times do you yell that?
It was probably 3 times with each bang. Mm-hmm. There was a total of 6 bangs, 6 different knocks at the door.
There were 7 officers on the scene that night. Mattingly claims that one officer said he thought he heard movement inside the apartment.
He said, stop, I can hear somebody coming up to the door. So we stopped, we listened, nobody says anything, we yell again, please search warrant, open the door if you're there, please search warrant. Finally, I looked back at my lieutenant, who's in the stack back here, and he goes, go ahead and hit it.
They were initially there to execute a no-knock warrant. Sometime before, it had been verbally changed to a knock and announce.
Even on no-knock warrants, you announce, because we don't want to get shot either.
I was kind of dozing off. Breonna screamed out, who is it? Because that was her apartment. There was another loud bang. She's still saying, who is it the whole time. I'm saying, who is it now? Because nobody's answering. It's too late for anybody to be knocking on the door. I grab my gun. Then we proceed to go answer the door. And when we get right in the doorway of the bedroom, the door flies open.
I could see the living room to my right. So I could see the tan couches, the living room, the door, but I couldn't see down the hall because I'm on the left side of the door.
Were there any lights on in the apartment?
No, just the TV back there. We have lights on guns. So at this point, we're yelling, please search warrant, please search warrant. I step in the door frame to clear the hallway. I can see 2 figures.
How far away from you?
About 20, 25 feet. My eyes went straight to the barrel of this gun. I could see the tip of it, and my eyes just focused in on it.
Protect Breonna, protect myself. That's what was going through my head. So I let out one shot, at the ground. I'm figuring it's intruders or somebody trying to break in and harm us. They felt the need to kick the door, so they were pretty serious.
Everything happened in milliseconds. Boom, the sound, the feel in my leg. I mean, it was just instant. And As soon as I felt the smack on my leg and the heat, boom, 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 with return shots, 4 shots.
When you were firing your shot, what was your intent?
To stop the threat, whatever that was.
Protect yourself?
Yes, yeah, I wanted to get home to my family.
Walker, a legal gun owner, fired 1 shot. 3 officers returned fire.
There were 30 shots in return. So is that usual protocol from 1 shot to just 30 shots? A lot of people would look and say, man, that seems a little bit excessive.
It does seem like a lot. And let's get one thing straight. He wasn't shooting at the ground a warning shot. He was in a stretched out 2-hand.
And what do you mean stretched out?
He's pushed out with 2 hands, looking straight at me. I saw his gun. Our postures were the same, looking at each other when he fired that shot.
Walker and his attorneys dispute that account.
It was just a hell of gunfire. I grabbed Breonna and I dropped to the ground and I was holding her hand while we went down. And then it's just gunshots for however long. And they was coming from every direction.
I reached down and felt my leg and I could feel a handful of blood in the heat. And I thought, man, it's my femoral artery.
An FBI ballistics report said it was Walker's bullet that struck Mattingly, but Walker disputes this.
What's going through your mind?
I've got to get a tourniquet on it or I'm gonna die.
With the tourniquet applied, Mattingly was loaded into an ambulance.
Put him in the trunk. Put him in the trunk.
But in the apartment, Walker tried to get help for Breonna, who was shot and bleeding.
I grabbed my phone. You know, I'm still right there with Breonna holding her. But at this point now I gotta do something. I have to call somebody or do something because I can't do anything just sitting right here holding her. So I called my mother. Then she told me to call 911.
911, Operator Harris, where's your emergency?
I don't know what's happening. Somebody kicked in the door and shot my girlfriend.
Is she alert and able to talk to you?
No, she's not. Breathe. God.
There's no reason at all, to my knowledge, that the police should have been at Breonna Taylor's apartment.
Keep coming back, sir.
Minutes after that call, Walker comes outside with his hands up, captured on body camera footage from officers responding to the shooting.
What now? Whoa! Put your hands in the air, get down on your knees! What did I do? What did I do? Who else is in the apartment? Nobody, my girlfriend's dead. There's someone in there dead? Yeah, my girlfriend. Who was shooting at us? It was her house.
I'm confused, trying to figure out why guns is pointed at me. And I'm thinking they're there to help me, but really, they were the ones who just hurt me.
The gun's legal, like, everything. We don't...
You know, shocked, hurt, and pain, whatever you can think of.
Oh, watch out! Hey, watch the kitchen.
SWAT officers head inside, clearing the home, finding Taylor's body in the hallway.
Go ahead and get EMS in.
Let me check her pulse.
Ma'am, can you hear us? Louisville Metro Police Department. Check that wrist, Sue. Check the wrist.
Walker was arrested and later charged with attempted murder of a police officer. Those charges were later dropped.
Even with me being in cuffs and I'm in the back of the police car and everything, every time they try to talk to me, that's all I'm asking them. Is she okay? Like, what's going on with her? And nobody was telling me anything. Nobody seemed to be concerned about her but me.
During the execution of the warrant, only 1 officer was wearing a body camera, but it wasn't turned on because Mattingly said it wasn't police procedure in these types of situations.
Do you believe if you had body cameras, this wouldn't have happened?
No, the incident would have still happened, but it would have been shown on camera what happened. This wouldn't even be an issue. This wouldn't be a case. You'd never hear about it.
How would you have done it differently if you could have?
We would have either served the no-knock warrant or we would have done the normal thing we do, which is 5 to 10 seconds, to not give people time to formulate a plan, not give people time to get their senses so they have an idea of what they're doing. Because if that had happened, I'm telling you, Mike, if that had happened, Breonna Taylor would be alive.
You believe she'd be alive if that had
100%.
happened? If you had just stormed in?
Yes.
And not given them time?
I do.
Mattingly, in part, puts the blame on Walker.
The scenario, the way it was set up, the scene, the impossible situation that Kenneth Walker put her in that hallway. With this narrow hallway, shooting from it, him diving out. I'm assuming she was trying to follow him in the room. I don't know that for sure, but that's what makes sense. He put her in an impossible situation.
Do you feel Kenneth Walker is responsible for her death?
I think there's a few people responsible. I think he is.
But Kenneth Walker says he is a protector.
Your actions are sometimes still to blame whether you did it intentionally or not.
But to Walker, the blame lies with the officers who fired inside that hallway.
His words aren't credible. So anything he says is irrelevant. Whoever shot her is responsible for her death. Whoever allowed them to come there and do that, they're responsible.
When we come back, how the death of George Floyd would inspire calls for justice for Breonna Taylor.
Say her name! Breonna Taylor!
And how Officer Mattingly sees his and Taylor's cases as very different.
It's not a race thing. This is not kneeling on a neck. This is nothing like that.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.